Hey, everybody, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I am your host, Dave.
And I'm John.
I'm Don.
Yes, we are all here this week. This will be a fun show. I already know some people that are watching to hear what we're going to say about all of this stuff going on the internets and this television show. And somebody's getting texts. But before we get to all of that, how is everyone doing? John, how are you? How was your week?
So we're reviewing Acolyte today, right? That's what we're going to do, right?
We're going to talk about the premiere, yes.
Okay, hold on.
No, buddy.
What
that's good.
that?
I agree.
Just needed some courage for this.
Oh my God.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm doing great. And I will as soon as this hits my gut. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Like nothing really to complain about except for the medical establishments around here for veterinarians. Because my cat has hyperthyroidism, and apparently there is a cure that works 95% of the time. And although it costs a lot, like $1,700, it's almost impossible to find somebody who can do it. So I am fighting the fight to see that my 16-year-old cat survives the next couple of years. And I apparently am fighting the establishment. And I thought human doctors were bad off enough, but nope. Veterinarians, there's a problem with them too, apparently.
Okay, then.
Yes, and Thronkill, yes, we will sit around a campfire and we will then, get out some the stuff for s'mores, and then we'll put the marshmallow on the stick, and they'll put it over the fire. And once it's brown enough, then we'll just smash the stick into the fire because
God,
this is the way things are going tonight, apparently. Anyway, besides me worrying about my little kitten who's sleeping underneath my desk, everything else is just ducky. It's nice. It's summer.
Ducky.
I've had the windows open. We're due for like a massive heat wave or storms anytime now.
Yeah, it rained a little bit today, like here for like 15 minutes.
But we are due. I mean, we've had the last year, every month has broken records by far. So at some point we're going to see a heat wave in the hundreds here. So I'm just really enjoying being able to open my windows without my curtains getting set on fire so far. I am just full of joy today.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. How about you, my good friend Don?
I've had a great week and great new show out. Seen a bunch of hate thrown toward it for ridiculous reasons, and maybe we'll get into a little bit of that here. Looking at John's reactions, he's obviously so much disdain for this show that he'd rather talk about the weather than get to the subject at hand.
Calm, cool, and collected.
But outside of that, no tabletop Star Wars group this week, but I did get in a great Magic game. Actually, 3 out of 4 games this Friday, so super excited about that.
A Magic game, that's neat.
Oh yeah, I play Magic all the time. I've got a good group of friends.
What rules?
Commander. We play Commander. So the only game I lost, my commander was Gandalf the Grey, and I milled 65% of everybody's libraries just way too early. I thought I was going to draw into some stuff I didn't. None of them liked that, so they all turned around and nuked me. So I lost that game, but the other 3 I got. So I was excited about that because it's a pretty competitive group. I mean, not tournament or anything, but just people with a lot of good cards and been playing a while. So it's exciting to win like that. How about you, Dave? How you doing, man? Other than a move, looks like you have relocated.
Yes. So, wow, a lot has actually happened this week. First off, yes, I have moved. I'm in a new location. I did say something about this a couple of weeks ago on the show that something like this was going to come up. And so here we are now. And I am still, like, literally, this is brand new for me. I'm still figuring this out. Like, setting up this and how I want this all to go, and I'll get there. I mean, there's I had black curtains at my old house in the room where I recorded, so it blocked a lot of light for me. And I don't even have shades on these windows. So
it takes a while to get a setup right. Like, I mean, you know, I'm working on an upstairs room right now so that I could like move all this up there,
yeah.
and actually have like neat decorations like Don has,
Oh,
because I
Don's the
have a
king of
lot
the
of that kind of
nerds.
stuff. But look at that setup, man.
This is just the shit I collected over the years, man. That's all.
Yes,
all that
but
is.
you're able to display it, whereas I am
Yeah.
like just in this downstairs room.
And oh wait, Drew's here. Let's see. Don, have you played? I can't
What
read
kind
that.
of? What kind of?
Yeah.
Wakana. While I was back, it was with the new co-op. While wife and I got back into it with a new co-op. Ah, okay. Did you move with your girlfriend? No, not yet. It's a long story, and I don't want to share all the details, but I moved for financial reasons, and this is only temporary. Well, I mean, it's going to probably be at least a year. So, yeah, I'm gonna get comfortable and get used to it.
To answer your question, no, I'm not familiar with that game, by the way, Drew. Just want to throw it out there.
The hardest, the move the hardest has been for is the cat.
Oh yeah, no, cats are.
You have an 11-year-old cat who's an indoor cat and like never left the house, is in a new house.
The whole world just changed.
Yeah. She's just been hiding under my son's bed since we moved in. It was, you know, yesterday's when we like officially moved in. So
cats thrive on convention and normalcy,
yes.
and when you change their world, it makes them really nervous. So just take a lot. Real good secret for moving when you have a cat. You have all these cardboard boxes now. Just leave them around. The cat will love them.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. But yeah, the other exciting thing that has happened this week, I'm still figuring it all out, but we are now part of the YouTube Partner Program. So anyone watching, if you want to support us live a little bit, you can, do super chats now. And we would greatly appreciate any support you want to throw our way. We won't deny you. There's also, I don't know if you can see it. If you can't, let me know. There should be a join button now that we do have a membership set up, or we're setting it up. I'm sorry, it's under review. It might not be there yet. And yeah, so there are some perks to being a member. You'll get all our videos earlier than everyone else, and you'll get a member badge, and you get priority in the chat. So, I mean, come on, it's cool. I know Thrawn, Drew, and all you guys, you love us. Anyway,
do it now. Do it.
But do you love us with money? That's the
well,
and we'll still read their stuff anyway. They're the regulars.
Oh, that's true.
That'd be like going to Cheers and not listening to the two guys in the end.
We're gonna have to discriminate a little bit, though. You're gonna have to, you have to discriminate a little bit.
Okay, but
all-star comments only.
Yeah, we'll throw love to our regulars, but if you're new, then hey.
The campfire there's Kassan. The campfire has become a meme, but one thing is true. The writers forgot what they wrote on the previous page. Huh.
That happens.
Interesting.
That's probably related to the writing on Acolyte. So again, we will get to that.
Oh my God.
You Dave, you haven't seen my notes. I have notes on this.
My goodness.
Yeah, I only have notes when I am serious about discussing something.
All right.
I can't wait to hear what you guys think about it.
I have a question for you guys. What is the temperature what is the internal temperature of a tauntaun?
Oh no.
Don't know.
Don't know? Lukewarm.
Okay, that wasn't bad.
I was trying to find a Star Wars joke, an inappropriate Star Wars joke, and
that's a good Star Wars dad joke.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a really good one, actually. I'm going to tell that to my nephews.
I knew this was coming.
Oh yeah, Don, your beard's gone.
It is, I just felt it made me look way older than I was. So I'm going to grow out a little bit because that's what the wife likes. But it is getting summertime. I gotta let it exactly. I gotta let it breathe. I have sensitive skin.
I think I mentioned this last week too. I got so many grays on my mustache, and when I dye it, the girlfriend gets upset, and it's like, why?
No, they like it, man. They like that. They're like to be Sean Connery with your gray hair.
Sean Connery. Hey, Ron Kill, it says, did you bring that up, Dave? It says
you brought receipts, yeah.
Yes, and those receipts are from the liquor store, and they are long.
I am not reimbursing you.
I know. Right. Damn it, people!
I never take receipts.
Use the super chat so that he may reimburse me. Don, you got admirers today.
Hey, I'll take it. Thank you. I agree.
There you go. All the ladies want you. Did I just call Drew a lady?
You did. Right. I mean, it's 2024, so you're assumed as gender, sir.
We do have a little bit of social media madness this week. Let's see. Hold on. Let's start with.
All I see is Acolyte on our list here, man.
Well, I did ask our viewers what did they think of the Acolyte. I said, did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you fall somewhere in between? So over on the Facebooks, we got Pat Willis said, didn't love it, didn't hate it, just meh to me. Carolo Marone said, made by Leslie Headland, personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein, yes.
Enough said. Now,
yes.
But does that?
Oh shit! What the fuck does it matter about the show, man?
Yeah.
Well,
that's annoying.
It's that. I mean, that first off, that does matter. I mean, not to the yes. It matters and it doesn't. I know we're gonna go into this.
I have so much fucking smoke for this shit. I'm just gonna.
Well, I know, but that does matter, and not for the show per se, but for Disney to have hired somebody like that woman.
So because Harvey Weinstein, likely took advantage of her, she can't get hired by Disney.
No, she helped him take advantage.
Okay, I see. Do we know that?
That was in the lawsuits and everything, and she's kind of avoided all of that. I think when they caught Weinstein, they kind of thought, yeah, we got him, and then let a lot of people go that were also complicit. And she was in all the notes and everything. She was mentioned in the lawsuits and the court proceedings and all that. So
okay, so fuck it. Creeps can write Star Wars. That's how I feel about that. But okay, go ahead.
All right. My good friend Doug Lennox said, nope. Let's see. Over on the Twitters, I'm not going to read my comment because it's me, and I'm not going to read Don's comment. But Ray from the Gorilla Brain podcast said, it's not exactly something we asked for, but Disney going to Disney, so there's no stopping the machine.
This is true, as we're finding out.
That's such a Ray answer. Oh my god. And then over on the Tiki Talks, Wayne Dunlap said, in between, I think it's still gonna fail. It's interesting with the villain, not the twin, but her master. Still, the show is predictable. Parker said, I'm in the middle. Not a lot of it is out yet. Yes, and that's a good point.
Episode 3 is episode 2 is out. Episode 3 is the one that everybody's talking about. That is, well,
everyone's talking about, but no one's seen. You're making people are giving an opinion on something they haven't seen yet. And then Lady Man 217 said it's okay. Who's seen it? It's not out yet.
Some of the reviewers have seen it, and they've also been talked to by what's her face, by the writer, and the ideas. I mean, they are pushing a bunch of stuff that is going to be in the third episode. It's just that we haven't seen the form of yet, but we know generally what's going to be in there, because this isn't even leak category. This is they're hyping it up before the episode comes out. This is going to be awesome. This is going to be as awesome as the Timeless Child was for the Doctor, which, if you know the fandom of Doctor Who, that kind of, tried to ruin the whole franchise. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be fun.
Okay. Kassan says the show is summed up with one line: you cannot kill the Jedi with steel or laser. And then he goes, but the very first Jedi Master died by steel.
Yes.
When did they ever say that?
That was the monologue of the Master. You must not attack them with a weapon. You must not attack them with you can't kill them with.
So he's the king of the universe. Anyway, I gotta shut up.
Well, I mean, the thing is, in the Star Wars lore, the thing is, for a Sith, they must kill a Jedi without using a lightsaber, because they have to steal the lightsaber, the kyber crystal from them, and bleed it.
They can bleed.
That's how the Sith get their lightsaber. So yes, you can kill a Jedi without a lightsaber. It happens. That's just a line one character said in the show.
Well, that was the point, though, that's his philosophy, and that's what he's pushing on his acolyte, and yet the very first Jedi she kills with a knife, a weapon, something that she wasn't supposed to use, something that he's saying that you can't use.
Imagine that a Sith in training doesn't follow the rules.
That's a point. Yeah.
Come on,
yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Thrawn says story points that would benefit the show are not expanded on, and a lot are just vomited out onto the screen. How?
Let's finish Media Madness, because
we obviously have a lot to talk
quick about here.
This might make you happy. Last week we did talk about Cloak and Dagger, and over on TikTok, SMG, and I asked in the one clip I put has anyone ever seen Cloak and Dagger? Because we were talking about Dabney Coleman and how he did such a great job in the movie and whatnot. And SMG said, I have, and you guys did a great job reviewing it. So,
good.
Thank you, SMG. We appreciate that.
We are the best on the internet, so
obviously.
Yes, obviously, we're super professional. And then finally, we did talk a little about.
I'm good, but not professional.
We did talk about what you call it, the Disney possibly buying Spider-Man back, and we had a couple people comment on TikTok. Three Kings said, "Please don't let them get Spider-Man. Disney has done so badly lately."
I mean, you're not wrong, and the Sony Animation Studios are killing it.
And then wait, but Waffles are better. I love that. Waffles are better replied to them saying, as bad as Disney has been, the MCU has always been better than anything Sony has put out.
Yes.
Absolutely. And not to mention that we're going to be talking a little bit later here about a third Venom movie, number 3. And he's not even ever fought fucking Spider-Man or even have a Venom symbol on his suit. So, Sony versus trash. Except for when
didn't I hear that one of the very first scenes of that is going to be somebody in the MCU going up to the bar where the little piece of Venom was left and them smashing it, meaning they're like Sony is crapping on the fact.
We'll talk about that when we get to that. the trailer. Kurt McGirt said Sony is about to get that amazing ROI. Woman may camera TV. Okay, said Disney really should have done that years ago. They have the money. This is true. Like, they could have easily made them an offer. And then Ganassa said it's really people saying no. Like, all the solo Spider-Man Disney films weren't amazing, and the current fake Sony Marvelverse or whatever it is isn't GIF awful. Y'all are really telling someone not to buy. You're already telling to not buy. Yeah. So
I'm sorry. The Spider-Verse stuff is awesome. Like, it is some of the best animation, the best storytelling I've seen in a long time. Thrawn Kill, you bite your tongue, man. No. How the only reason you did Thrawn Kill the last he says he fell asleep during the last Spider-Verse. So how much alcohol did you have before that, or did you just drink a bottle of Valium? Because man.
First, Drew said, "Are there going to be episode 3 spoilers tonight? I hate seeing previews." No, we don't. We actually, it's funny. I have a contact at Disney, and we could possibly get those trailer episodes, but I haven't set that up yet. Because we have gotten stuff from them before.
And again, episode 3 is not out yet, so we can talk. We can talk the same shit that everybody else does about it, like stuff we've heard, stuff we know that the director and the writers have already pushed, but we can't say what's exactly in there because we haven't seen it because it's not out.
I don't know how he fell asleep in that. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I was on the edge of my seat the whole freaking time.
I've never seen any of the Spider-Verse shit. I don't care to be honest with you, but kids love that shit. Okay, so as somebody that likes comic books and want to see comic book shit, it's great that the kids like it. So you really need to just shut the Spider-Verse. I don't know nothing about it. I just know the kids love it, and if it brings them in, we got to support it. That's all.
Of all the things that you're not interested in seeing, Don, and with good reason for a lot of it, this would be something that, like, maybe consider at some point if you see it on. Because this it's the only stuff that Sony puts out. It, like, the animation studios are completely separate from the rest of the crap that they've been putting out, and it's got heart, man. It really has heart. It is worth at least a look.
I think it's why it worked, because Sony didn't think it was going to be anything, so they were like,
so they let the writers, they didn't interfere with it, and they got, probably one of the best animation movie series of all time.
It was okay, but a lot of Oscar Isaac screaming. Maybe. All right. So that's it for Social Media Madness for this week, guys. So, but if you would like to follow us on social media, maybe learn about some other great podcasts, here's our good friend Don to tell you more.
Hey, great show tonight, right? But I bet you also want to be part of Social Media Madness, and you can. You just head on over to superheroespeak.com, where we have all of our social media links. And while you're there, you can check out links to the show, comic reviews by Chris, other stuff that we're adding on there all the time. So again, check out superheroespeak.com. And while you're already on the interwebs, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars podcast network. Great shows like the Pop Prison Power podcast, Colt 45, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain podcast, That's So Wizard, and Superhero Speak. So on your social media app, just go ahead and type in hashtag GW All-Stars, and you will not be disappointed. Now, I'm sure the present me has refilled his alcoholic beverage and wiped the sweat from under his man tits, so we can get back to the show. It is true. Summertime.
At least you're honest, but it was like a time machine because you had your beard and now
I did, and now it's gone.
Wow. Wow, we got a Twitch comment here over Spider-Verse. This is a 2099 family from Disney.
This is my next door neighbor. Yeah, this is my next door neighbor. And yeah, he's He's all about it.
He's a Spider 29. He's a 2099 fan.
He's an everything fan. It's hard to explain that guy. Stuff I wouldn't normally like, he's all about. It just is what it is.
All right.
But he plays Magic with me, and he's in my tabletop group. So what's up, Devin?
Oh, there you go. All right. And you know what? While you're here, if you haven't done so yet, please click that subscribe button. Click the bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we go live here Sunday nights at 8:30. And you know what else you can do? You can smash that like button because it really does help with the algorithm. Gets us out there, gets more people to see the show. And hey, we're partners now with YouTube, so that should mean something, right?
That's right. Some super chats going. Let's go.
Yep. All right. Well, on that note, boys and girls, let's take a quick commercial break and come back with some news.
Some podcasts are like this.
What's the animal in this world that you fear the least? Fish. Animal. Fish. Don't start. Don't. You're starting, and I'm not.
A fish is an animal.
No, it's not. I'm talking about an animal, like a real animal, like
fish.
No,
fish is animal.
Hard-headed. I'm talking about that's like saying like an ant. That's not an animal. That's a sea creature.
What? It's a sea creature. A fish is an animal.
You can't go to the zoo and see a fish. They don't have zoo fishes.
There's actually so many fishes.
There's fish zoos? You can go to a fish zoo.
No. There's so many fish that they have their own attraction called an aquarium.
No, they don't. No, that's different. That's like sharks and shit. Those are animals.
Fish!
No.
Fish!
No, that's why they have different names. Sharks and fish. Why are you being political? I'm talking about an animal like a monkey, zebra, tiger, bear.
Okay.
And some podcasts are like this.
What's your take?
Since the fucking pandemic, everyone and their mother went on Amazon, got a microphone, got the whole kit set up, little filter, and now it's like they're important and we want to hear what they have to say about food, sports, culture. Who gives a
You don't like podcasts?
No, I think it's people jerking themselves off on the air to pretend they're doing something with their life.
If you already have a podcast, you can keep doing it, but it should be illegal to start a new podcast.
Get if you like doing like social justice or covering like current events, but just to talk about stupid sports, food, this and that is garbage, bro.
Wait, do you have a podcast?
Out of here, bro.
You're on a podcast right now.
I'm happy to participate in this one. Let you know how I feel about all these jamooks out here running around thinking there's somebody important. Like we want to listen to what they have to say.
What's a jamook?
Jamook, lame-brained. You know a jamook? A person of mental or physical incompetence due to their own lack of grace or social aptitude.
I like this definition. Jamook. Idiot, loser, lame-brained, a jamook.
Yeah.
But only one podcast is where you can get in-depth analysis like this.
They're breaking down the U.S. Phillips and the top brass are talking about what the fuck happened. And Phillips is like, look, bro, I wanted an army of you assholes, not just you. Go fuck out of here. I don't care. But the Senator Brandt, I was like, hold on, fam. I see opportunity.
Hey, we got a guy here. It's a super soldier.
I see a big, greasy, sweaty, swole, sexy man right here. We're going to slap you on some labels, bitch. About to walk this track for America.
Yeah. Shake your ass on the curb for America.
Bounce that ass for the U.S. of A.
Bounce that ass for the U.S.
I want dancing girls.
Dancing girls. And America's ass.
You are now listening to Cult 45.
This is Beat 'em Down.
And I'm Random Randy Savage.
Find us on all your podcatching apps like Podbean or Spotify. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Or just go to www.cult45podcast.com.
Also, check out our YouTube for that sweet, sweet video content.
Cult 45, the only podcast that puts hair on your chest.
I just wanted to give also an additional shout out to Cult 45. They just did Comic Palooza last week. They do it every year. They did 2 panels there, and they videoed them, and you can watch them on their channel, and they're great. They did a Cards Against Humanity game with their whole audience, and it was great. And your mic is off, John.
I said, "Oh, cool."
and Dizzy said, I like colors and knowing a broad range of things.
That he does. And he's super into like 90s foil covers and, image. He loves it.
All right. So the news, the first bit of news we got this week, the Venom 3 trailer, Venom The Last Dance dropped this week.
What a dumb fucking title. Sorry.
It's interesting. There's talk that this is the last Venom movie. I don't know what that means. Is Tom Hardy done playing the role? I don't know. And
I think the CGI Venom is tired of playing the movie and wants to start doing off-Broadway stuff. I mean, he never got to play against his ultimate rival, Tom Holland. So,
that's good. Yeah, and I think what you're talking about, the scene in the trailer is the guy comes and he's got a tube and he's getting that piece of the symbiote that they put in the after credit scene to make it think like, oh, Spider-Man's going to fight Venom in the MCU. And the actor who does it is the same actor who plays Mordo in Doctor Strange, but he's playing someone different in this movie. So it's just like, that's confusing in itself. But I think they're saying that no, that's still in the same universe as Venom. So no, like there's a theory that Sony snuck that stuff in to force Marvel to do Spider-Man versus Venom, and Marvel was like, nah, that's not going to happen. So,
yeah.
CG Venom is upset with his character growth between movies and wants to enter the Mad Max franchise.
He obviously hasn't seen the current Mad Max franchise, so yeah. Okay.
Leave the Venomverse to his ungrateful children. Oh my god. Oh my god. Thank you, Thrawn. Our first super chat. Yay!
Okay, what now? I'm unfamiliar with the protocol. What do we do now? Are we supposed to send him?
We go to the bar and we buy a shot with that, because that's about.
I was gonna say, do we send him our bathwater? What do we do? Like, I don't understand what.
We celebrate him.
We celebrate him. We say thank you.
That's
Thrawn.
way
We appreciate it. Yeah, there's no bathwater. There's no sniffing farts or anything like that.
But this is what I've heard the internet's about. I mean, I'm obviously
where are you hanging out on the internet?
These trends.
Right. That's for desperate younger attractive ladies, not us.
Yeah, we're not attractive ladies at all. Sorry.
Will they pay us for not sending them our bathwater?
I guess if you were going to send bathwater.
Wait, hold on. If we threaten them with sending them John's bathwater,
yeah,
how much money will that get us?
May contain cat hair.
So John takes baths.
He licks himself because he's a cat.
Well, we'd only be able to do it once a year in that case. You're correct. Yeah.
Oh my god. Wow, we
So what were we talking about? I'm sorry.
Venom 3. Yes, so the same actor who I can't his name escapes me off the top of my head. He's playing a different character in this movie than Doctor Strange. So that has confused people. And yes, I think Sony was trying to trick Marvel into doing Spider-Man vs. Venom, and Marvel's like, nah, we're not going to do that. And I think that's why now he's just capturing that piece of the symbiote in the beginning of the movie. I have a feeling like that's how the movie opens.
Marvel's already dealing with their own house fires. And you don't bully the mouse. I mean, anybody who's seen the South Park episode knows you do not bully the mouse. Sony, you're big, but you're not Disney big. Right. You're not going to force them to do anything.
No.
I give them credit for not just leaving it out there, though. At least they close that loop.
Yeah, I mean, and that's good. What was the other thing? Oh, and in an interview, I should have included this. In an interview with Tom Hardy, he hinted at, but didn't say outright that they do have their own Spider-Man in this verse, and I'm like, what is that? Yeah, he almost hinted at like,
yeah, that's news.
There will be a Spider-Man, like, and again, this is all rumor stuff, but there have been rumors for a while about Andrew Garfield playing in another Spider-Man movie, like. And
I don't want that. I want Tobey Maguire and John Malkovich. I want Spider-Man 4. That's honestly what I want more than anything out of the Spider-Man verse here.
But yeah, that's true. But like, and that's the thing. Like, did Sony and Marvel come to some kind of weird agreement? And like, there's an argument to be made that there's a Batman movie series. Well, there's only one so far, but they are making the second one. That's totally disconnected from a DC extended universe. Like, it's a different Batman, with the sparkly guy, the sparkly.
It's not the Reeves verse.
The Reeves verse.
Pattinson, Pattinson. It's not
Pattinson.
Different from that,
right? But no. I'm saying that Pattinson, like, that's its own thing. Where you had Ben Affleck.
Fucking Batman universes are we gonna have? That's crazy.
But I'm saying, like, they're letting DC do that, have multiple Batmans, and apparently didn't confuse the fans. I think it did. So, like, why not have multiple Spider-Mans out there?
Oh, they called it Elseworld.
Yeah, Kassan's right. They do say it is Elseworlds, but yeah, like, you could say
it's true, but your everyday fans doesn't know about Elseworlds at all.
Yeah.
And I think if they actually did manage to get another successful Batman IP, then people would start to be confused. But I think that right now they've only got one definitive Batman.
Thrawn says, heard a rumor that people who've seen the Goblin and
Doc
Ock in the Holland verse will attempt to emulate
them.
Emulate them to have those characters established in the MCU.
That would be great.
It's not a bad idea. Because I mean, we need like, they've ruined a lot of his villains and they've killed a lot of them off, but it's not a bad idea. Like, Doc Ock is one of the main Spider-Man villains in the books, and if they're doing a reset on Spidey where he's by himself and he's got his own homemade costume now, like, 'cause that's where we ended No Way Home with. Yeah, let's give him a Doc Ock to go against. That would be great. And it's funny, like, we're saying all this, and I saw a post on social media this week, and I did comment on it, where basically somebody was saying, what's your least favorite MCU movie? Right? He didn't say Marvel, he said MCU, and then people were saying Ang Lee's Hulk or Madam Web or whatever, and it's like,
Madam Web wasn't,
and I did comment, I'm like, you guys are mentioning Marvel movies, but that aren't necessarily MCU. And Disney actually said at one point they were going to sue. They were thinking about suing Sony because they were making terrible movies, comic book movies that were tangentially attached, and it made people confused. And it hurt their brand, right?
Yeah, Craven hasn't come out yet. I'm sure when that comes out, they'll definitely sue because.
And it's like, and I'm like, when I first heard it, I'm like, that's ridiculous. But then it's like, I see people commenting, and I'm like, they might have a point. It does. People are confused. What's Marvel? What is, and what isn't?
Well,
but they wrote that check. They wrote that check back when they wanted Spider-Man in Civil War.
Give me a cool chameleon spy drama. Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot you could do with a lot of the Spider-Man rogues.
You make a good movie, put a good story in there. We're going to be there. Absolutely. Doesn't have to be world ending.
Is a guy who's a master of disguise a compelling villain today? You know,
I think it could be if written correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would be the scrolls. It would be the scrolls done right if you did it right. You know, like
you mean not like Secret Invasion?
Exactly. Yeah, because that was just
and you
ridiculous.
will see them do it with Mystique though too. So I kind of get. I mean, that could get redundant, but still.
Well, they would both have.
He's in the Spider-Man Rogues Gallery though, and something level like that could be awesome.
It would be. The difference would be the flair or the their personality and how they use the power, right? But it would be perfect for a spy or like a whodunit drama or something.
Gassan says they'll lose the case when you factor in the Marvels, Eternals, and the Secret Invasion.
And Thor: Love and Thunder.
Can't disagree with them. There's a chance this is Thrawn. There's a chance Craven could pull it off. Madam Web set a really low bar.
I mean, you're not incorrect.
Jake Gyllenhaal for Mysterio. Huh. I don't hate that.
Do we love him?
Doesn't everyone love Jake Gyllenhaal? Isn't that
I thought he was good in that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he was bad at all. I can't say I'm a Jake Gyllenhaal guy.
Yeah, but they left him open for surviving, because again, the whole point of him is you don't know what reality is. So did he die? Did he not die? Who knows?
So, all right. Well, Venom 3. We are gonna probably watch it for the podcast. Sorry, because there isn't a lot of movies coming out this year. You got a few months to prepare yourselves. Hey, come on! You get Deadpool Wolverine before that, so don't complain too much.
Right on.
True.
Although I feel with that, Dave, that it's getting,
wait.
They're calling it a savior.
Dizzy Gag said, I meant, isn't he about the same as Chameleon? They could make it work. Yeah, but I mean, Mysterio's bigger because he makes you think you're in another environment and everything, where this is Chameleon is just changing himself, not what's around you. But yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead, Don. You were
I don't even remember.
The savior.
Wolverine. Right. Like, I keep seeing these articles where it's like Deadpool and Wolverine's gonna save the MCU, it's gonna save superheroes, and like, so I feel at this point that if it comes out and it doesn't make $1 billion, people are gonna talk shit about it. I just don't think that's fair. That's all. Yeah,
you're right. And that's the thing. Like, they're setting it up to where if it's not the biggest movie in 10 years for them, that's going to be it was a failure. And
but just because Hugh Jackman is returning as Wolverine does not mean it's going to make $1 billion. It could, right. But I just I don't want to see that. I want to see
on the other side.
It sucks.
I know, but Ryan Reynolds. I mean, the chances are good that it's going
to be great. But is he $1 billion Hollywood star? I mean, I like Ryan Reynolds. I love Ryan Reynolds, but
I don't know.
You're in the streaming era. They know they're going to wait 4 months and it's going to be on streaming. Like,
hopefully, hopefully, it depends on how long they put into theaters. Yeah.
I mean, I just pulled that number out of my ass, but I'm just saying it's likely
going to be somewhere around. No, it's true. Is that more and more people are just waiting for streaming. But like they are saying, a lot of people do say, I want to still go for an event movie. And I kind of feel like this is an event movie. So we'll see. I mean,
look at the popcorn bucket you can fuck. So I guess so, right?
Look at Barbie and Oppenheimer last year. Like they made insane money. So
yeah.
All right.
I mean, at least it's in the summertime though. That so that does bode well.
Thrawn says we cut back on going to the movies a lot, but we are for sure going opening night.
Yeah, well, that goes. Yeah, I agree with Dave on that. It is one of those movies that feels like an event, not just a movie to go see. Like my next door neighbor was talking to me about it a couple a couple of weeks ago or a week ago, and it's like, yeah, there's a lot of movies coming up, and like Deadpool and Wolverine, and we're both like, oh yeah, we're going to see that one, as soon as it comes out.
Dizzy said, I mean, it made $8 million in pre-sales already, and I'm only going for the ticket, for the bucket. Sorry. Oh God,
All right, we have a lot to talk about. Let's move on.
The viral bucket videos are going to be amazing. Speaking of things that are amazing, RDJ, when speaking recently about with Variety about Oppenheimer, he also said that the more he thinks about it, the more he is interested in reprising his role as Tony Stark, Iron Man.
So he needs another paycheck to do Dr. Dolittle too. Is that it?
I mean, it's interesting. I kind of feel like he keeps saying this for one of two reasons. Either because a lot of fans online keep saying bring him back, or he actually is in talks with Marvel to come back in some capacity. Like why would he keep mentioning it? This is like the third or fourth time he said in an interview, like, yeah, I want to come back. The
CGI and Dr. Dolittle is going to cost a lot of money.
I don't know. I think it's a long line of people that are doing that at this point. Hugh Jackman being number one, and look, he's back. Chris Evans with the Captain America, so countdown for him coming back. Although I've seen articles that suggesting he just may do that. And with Robert Downey Jr., I think, yeah, certainly they get sick of it for a while, but I don't think that lasts for forever. And money's nice, so he didn't say he's coming back cheaply.
Yeah.
So I think that's worth noting.
Yeah.
This is a trope at this point. Someone plays a superhero, they don't want to get typecast, or they get sick of the role, so they're done, and then they come back. It's just get in line.
Don, going to what you said, like any movie that they bring him back for, he's going to be like a quarter of the budget.
Yeah,
just him.
Yep. Well, that's a deep cut there.
So Dizzy says, imagine they redo the Ultimate Universe. RDJ comes out as Papa Stark and raises Kang as Iron Lad. That is a very deep cut.
Yeah, I mean, because we see that the multiverse is like not really doing that well. So getting into the Ultimate Universe, is a bit of a stretch, but would be interesting. But it would lose the normies.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they're in talks, and the reason I'm feeling that way is because Sean Levy, who is directing Deadpool Wolverine, is currently in talks to direct Avengers 4, and in the same interview said that the movie contains 60 returning Marvel characters. 60. I don't think there's 60 characters still alive to bring back. They've killed off so many people.
Well, with the multiverse open and Loki acting as the Yggdrasil tree of the multiversal threads, you could bring back anybody now, even Black Widow.
And that's my question: are there 60 characters? And I'm serious. Are there 60 characters that we even care about them coming back? If it's not Iron Man, Cap, or Thor.
That's
no way, shape, or form.
And Spider-Man, like people still care about Spider-Man and Black Panther,
right?
But they can't bring him back at all.
Exactly, more from Mystique or some shit like that. Yeah, and it'd be quick cameos. Yeah, it'd just be ridiculous at this point.
I like this comment from Dizzy. So 14 names, characters, and Morph as 46 others.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like that's true, right? Like you got so many characters in Endgame, but it was all just in the battle at the end, quick cameo, seeing them running around. It wasn't like they were in the movie, and that's the only way you do it. And that also tells me 60 characters, you're going to get a quick cameo in a battle. Oh, they're talking Secret Wars. Like it's got to be. That's the only way that it makes sense. And it also makes sense to bring back RDJ in Secret Wars as another universe Iron Man. So that's my guess. I mean, I could be way off. Don,
that sounds right, but I mean, they throw us off all the time. But that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's ridiculous. If you really have a movie and you're trying to concentrate on 60 characters, it's gonna suck.
Yeah, exactly. No one's gonna care. It's
like Suikoden. Anyone remember the old PlayStation RPGs where it has 108 characters, and it's like, yeah, you only care about 5 of them, really.
Right. Nah, the rebooting Legion. All 60 characters are inside Charles Kidd. Oh my God.
So,
all right.
To watch that actually.
I watched the first couple of episodes and then fell off. It was actually really good. It's a little disturbing and creepy, I think, because it is
got Farouk, the Shadow King, so it better.
Yeah.
In our final article, which is still related to all this crap, to Blake Nelson, who played the leader in the Incredible Hulk, is actually being brought in for reshoots for Captain America Brave New Worlds, and hinted at there has been a behind the scenes plot by the leader this entire time. So it was the leader all along, like it's been Agatha all along. Like
it's not as catchy. Sorry,
all along. No, okay. It's got a big head and it's green. Anyway, I don't mind him going back down to like almost a street level like that, where have somebody with their smarts be a threat. My only question is why are there so many Hulk villains in a Captain America movie?
I don't know.
Like, is this Hulk 2.5 or some shit? I don't know. Like, because Ragnarok was Hulk 2.
I haven't even heard that Mark Ruffalo is in this movie. So, like,
yeah,
he has to be. How do you have Red Hulk, the leader, and there was one other? What wasn't there? I thought there was one.
Yeah,
other,
I swear we were talking about another Hulk villain. That was supposed to be in this movie.
It's like, and how do you do that without Hulk in it? Like
same way you do Venom without Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
You had to bring that up. Yeah, I mean, and Cap has other villains we haven't used that you could use in this movie.
But it's not Steve Rogers Cap, so do they think that a Sam Wilson Cap isn't strong enough to be like, I mean, don't get me wrong, because Captain America 3 was Civil War. So obviously there's precedence here with like Captain America movies being, not just Captain America movies.
Right.
But do you think it's because it's a Sam Wilson Captain America and not a Steve Rogers? That they got to bring in all this other shit? A Hulk, possibly?
Oh, I see what you mean. You mean bringing it more over so that people will watch it instead of.
I think there's a fear that people aren't going to be excited for Mackie. I can't think of his first name.
Anthony
Mackie.
Anthony Mackie. As a solo, as him being Cap, and it's like
he could have been good, but the Disney Plus show ended really on a low note.
It was good until the last episode. I liked it until it got to the last episode. And I felt like the only thing I really got out of that was setting up U.S. Agent. Other than that, it was like, why did we have this show? There was no need for this, or because they're just
setting up. Madam Hydra 2 was in there though.
True.
Like setting up her team, whether they be the Thunderbolts or the Dark Avengers at this point.
Yeah.
I really feel like they're going to just kind of repeat some of those beats in this movie too, because I know not everyone has watched the show, so the whole like him doubting himself to be Captain America is going to be at least in the first third of the movie, and it's just like that's going to be frustrating, What's Dizzy saying here? Cap villains, especially the deep cuts, I believe you just can't be done in today's climate, given how strong strong-willed they are and that they're all right. And that they are all right. They're just not bad enough for the Pandaverse. Oh. Oh, wait. He also said, this ain't Cap. It's Nomad and the Thunderbolts tie-ins. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I know enough about Cap Rogue Gallery, to be honest with you, outside of the Red Skull and just dealing with the Avengers shit. So
yeah, I mean, it's also like it's also like one of the things that's frustrating is they used the Falcon Winter Soldier show to bring in US Agent, and yet they had a Cap who went rogue in the movies, and that's how you got John Walker in the comics. Was the government was like, well, we've got to have a Captain America, so they brought him in, and that's a story that did work so much better in the comics, in my opinion, than it did in the MCU, because instead of trying to convince Sam, they just like, let's just get this guy John Walker, like, or trying to get Bucky to do it, which Bucky was Cap first in the comics. So anyway, I digress.
We digressed.
I'm just curious how the leader's going to fit in, and if they're going to do something weird where like some of the stuff that has happened, they're going to show how it ties together with him, and they're going to make him the new Kang since they can't have Kang anymore.
Right.
So
this is why we just can't have nice Kangs.
All right. I think that's all we got to say about the news. So boys and girls that are watching, go get your we're gonna play a commercial. Go get your popcorn or go get your s'mores or whatever.
Popcorn's appropriate.
Because this is gonna be a bumpy ride, I think. All right. We're gonna be right back with our main topic.
This is so wizard, Annie.
Broadcasting very fast and very dangerous from the planet Malastare. You are listening to So Wizard.
You're thinking people gonna die?
The only podcast to make the Kessel run in under 12 parsecs.
There'll be no one to stop us this time.
I am your host, Joey DiCarlo, and with me, my co-hosts, the queen of all nerds, Aubrey Litchfield, and the expert, Mr. Marquis, Marcellus Ray. You are listening to So Wizard Podcast, where three friends review movies, TV, and sometimes more, podcasting weekly on the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. Marcellus Reagans, please tell the listeners where they can find more So Wizard Podcasts.
Everybody, you can head on over to SoWizardPodcast.com, and there you're going to find a brand new episode every week. Find So Wizard on all podcasting streaming platforms, such as iTunes, Spotify, Good Pods, and pretty much wherever you can find a podcast. Check out our YouTube page, where new content is being uploaded regularly. We also have a Patreon page. For as little as $1 a month, you can receive exclusive bonus content while you're supporting the show.
No, I didn't. First of all, a podcast takes a lot of work, okay? You have to organize the guests, you have to do a Google Calendar, and then you build a following. It takes a long time, and I've been working on it for a while.
Oh, Don is so upset he left. Oh, okay.
Already?
Okay, you know what? I completely forgot. I was going to make you guys, I'm sure Don watched it, because Don's good like that. But I was going to make you guys watch the rant that I recorded on Friday, which was the last thing I ever recorded in my old house for the podcast, talking about the reactions people are having to the Acolyte. So I'm going to say this for people watching after you're done watching this. You should go back and watch, but I'm going to probably repeat some of those things now. But I had some good points, in my opinion. Uh-oh. He's getting the alcohol ready. So
this isn't alcohol. That's not allowed on YouTube. This is juice. Tasty juice.
So everyone should be excited because we had the premiere of a brand new Star Wars show on Disney Plus this week. It was The Acolyte. We got episodes 1 and 2. This is telling the story. Takes 100 years before the prequels. It's telling a new story about the Jedi that we've never gotten before. It's new. It's different. It's Star Wars, and everyone should be cheering and happy because we're getting more Star Wars, and those who love Star Wars love everything that we get. So, going around the room, non-spoilery at the moment, even though we've already spoiled it earlier in the show. But I'm just kind of curious, without going off, what was your initial feelings and reactions to these 2 episodes? And John, before you explode, you can go first.
Let's see. I think the best way I could sum up my opinion of this is a fire in space.
You can't have a fire in space. There's no oxygen.
Exactly. And neither does this show. I have.
You didn't really just do that, right?
I have copious notes. No, I think
just
this show. I mean, I watched the episodes twice, each one, just so I could, really lay into it. But otherwise, like, you can tell that there was a lot. You can tell that the base storyline sucks. This is a murder mystery, except we know who was murdered. We know how they were murdered. We know why they.
Do we?
We know.
Do you?
The only thing we
Do
don't
you really know the
exactly
whole
is why is why. I mean, we know somehow why, but we
okay. Even though
we know who did it, we know everything.
Before we
Wait, you told me not to go into it. Okay, so
I don't want to steal your thunder.
I'll just finish and say,
okay,
this you can almost the base storyline was not strong to begin with, and then you can see all of the interference from the studio, so which blows my mind. But yeah, this is like a ship crash landing into at orbital speed, crashing into a planet, and someone's somehow surviving with no injuries at all inside the wrecked ship. So,
okay.
Cheers, Don.
Don.
I think Don hates me now.
I think you're.
No, I don't hate you. You're one of my favorite people on the face of this planet. But the fact that you just went through all that and all you said was fire in space in a universe that already has sound in space, gravity in space. So now fire in space somehow breaks the universe. Like that's just how ridiculous the people that have been complaining about this series, that's what they're talking about. Fire in space in a world with laser swords, space wizards, and gravity in space. Yet, everybody likes Revenge of the Sith. So all sorts of fire in space on that one. I'm sure you've seen the clip online already. So anyway, I'm going to put my vitriol and defensiveness aside for the universe that I love the most and say that I thought this was an 8 out of 10. Honestly, it's the worst of the Star Wars shows. Okay?
Really?
I'm not saying it's the best, but I'm not saying it's bad by any stretch of the imagination whatsoever. This has a lot going against it. The fact that, and please, guys, showrunners, writers of these shows, great if you're LGBT and you want to inject some of that in there, but please shut the fuck up. Like, Bo DeMayo's in this list too. Like, you didn't need to say shit about Morph being binary. Just let it happen. And Leslie, whatever her fucking name is that you said was Harvey Weinstein's assistant, like
Leslie Headland,
be out there saying this is the gayest Star Wars shows ever, because there's no evidence of that when you actually watch this fucking show. But anyways, outside of that, I think it's great. It's fun. I like it a lot. It's not the best, absolutely, but I think a lot of the criticism that is coming from it, the review bombing that's coming from it, are people that haven't even watched it and they just have an agenda that's not a good agenda. It's bigotry.
A couple.
I've got problems with the story too. The pacing is off on this one. I will absolutely say the pacing is off on this one. The dialogue is off on this one. But outside of that, I'm enjoying it a lot. It's not the best of the Star Wars stories by any stretch of the imagination because it's not based off a beloved character and doesn't feature Baby Yoda. But outside of that, it's great. I'm enjoying it a lot.
A couple of points, Don. First off, like you said, it's like one of the weakest of the Star Wars shows, but you still give it 8 out of 10.
That's right.
Okay. All right. But
again, for those of you that don't know, you may have known this about me, but I grew up watching the original trilogy over and over and over again on VHS as an escape from my shitty childhood. So when it comes to Star Wars, I have a particular passion for it, and I do have a positive bias toward it. But with that said, I think very unfair what's happening to it.
And the other thing I wanted to say was I completely agree with you. Like watching the show and then watching all of the hype that they've done for all the press and everything gives you two completely different ideas. Like on the one hand, you have a Star Wars show. I feel it's not a great show or anything, but when you look at the press and all of and make it totally central around gender politics and all that, what the hell were they thinking? Like, who cares? Who cares if it's about, if some character is gay or not? I want a good show. If one of the characters is gay, it's still a good show. But like you're right. Like Leslie Headland and the rest were just laying into, the gayest show, this, that, the other. It's like, why? Why is that your angle?
Because of one of two things. They think either that sells, that's what people want to hear, or two, they know it's going to create controversy and it's going to get the name of the show out there even more.
Leslie Headland herself is controversy. So
real quick, I like this line from Dizzy. God, I hope it turns out to be triplets. Please let them be triplets. Okay. Thrawn says,
oh no,
the fire didn't bother me as much as the other inane things like, couldn't they have checked the ship's logs to see if anyone had left? Why do they arrest someone in a two-door police car? Two-door police car. Two-seat car, excuse me. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Dizzy says, I mean, it's not the greatest, even as a non-Star Wars fan, Star Wars media, but I mean, look at what we're going up against. Doesn't need Baby Yoda. We got Pip. Oh, the little droid.
Little
you can sleep with
pilot or whatever.
And then he says, you can sleep with whoever. I just want to watch you weird.
Yeah.
Well,
that
lightsaber, baby.
Okay. The light whip, which we haven't seen. I think we've only seen that in a promo.
I have a question. And I have a very serious question. And I think it's part of the problem I'm having with some of the people talking about the show. Who's the main character? Who's the main character of this show?
If you ask me,
May probably, I guess.
See, okay. May or Osha, but Soul.
Yeah,
Soul seems to be very.
I believe it's May because the show is called The Acolyte. An acolyte is someone who is a devout follower of like a monk, right? So May is a devout follower of this Sith.
Are we in spoilers yet?
Yeah, we're in spoilers.
Well, spoilers for only episode 1 and 2. Again, we haven't seen episode 3. There's already plenty of presser on 3. We're not really going to talk about. I guess we're not really going to talk about that much. So just for 1 and 2, guys.
So Star Wars is the king of reveals the twist, right? Luke, or no, I'm your father. Almost misquoted it. Interesting theory from my podcast partner John. He thinks that Osha is May and May is Osha. And it actually makes sense because Osha is the one that was actually trained and should be able to use the Force, yet in this TV show, anytime she tries to use the Force, it doesn't work. Yet May is killing Jedi Masters.
Well, May was trained by
the show.
May was trained by this supposed Sith Lord that shouldn't exist because we were having canon that the Sith haven't existed for 1,000 years.
But they don't know that. Osha actually was a Jedi and was just expelled, yet she can't use the Force. She can't
she hadn't trained
move object on Pip.
She hadn't trained for 6 years though, right? I mean, she let it go. She became a.
But then they give us a
mech.
character like Rey, who never trained, but yet can like do all this amazing stuff with the Force.
No, when she's been training under a Sith Lord.
That's our assumption.
Right.
Yeah,
but
I mean that's
the thing, and I've been thinking about this too, and that's why I bring the question up, because it's like, where is this going? Like, everyone is trashing this show for a couple little things here and there, but like, the show is going to be good or bad depending on where it goes and where it ends up. Like, this idea that you can judge a book by the first chapter, I think is pretty stupid.
This is like what is it? It's a quarter of the entire show, the first 2 episodes. Right?
Okay. Portion. It is, but we have just been introduced, and they're dropping really good hints. Like, at the point where May's talking to that guy that took over the apothecary shop. I can't remember his name, who I think may actually be that dude with the red lightsaber. But either way, he's obviously also some sort of acolyte. He's doing some sort of Sith alchemy. But, she even says when they're talking about peace, she's like, peace is a lie. That's a line from the Sith code.
Yeah.
So this is obviously, Sith acolyte shit.
Right.
So
Keanu Mundi's statement be damned, because he's an asshole. I think we're dealing with Sith all day.
Yeah. Or you don't think Dark Jedi?
No, I don't think when they're talking about killing a Jedi without a weapon, which is clearly a reference to them needing to get a kyber crystal to then bleed for their own. No, this is Sith all day.
Just to go to something that Thronkill in our chat said before, yes, they followed proper Jedi police procedure. They ID'd her with an eyewitness, the worst way that you can make an ID on someone. No holo recording, not by DNA, and in a galaxy where there are quadrillions of people, probably trillions of humans, and probably hundreds of thousands that match that exact description. And they somehow found her right off the bat. And yeah, I just also the haircut, the same haircut between the two of them, even though they've been separated.
Hers is longer. May's is longer. It's not the same haircut. Also, probe droids are a thing.
Right, but they didn't use that. They just were like, "Oh yeah, this is it." They.
Well, I mean,
I think it's what people don't get about Star Wars and the universe, and I get it because you're not steeped in it like I am. But like, you can literally do any fucking thing in this universe, whether it be through the Force or droids. Like,
right. Well, all right. Going to that, Don. One of the first scenes we see from what's his name, the young guy, he walks into the spaceship and asks the captain where the tech mechs are, and then immediately starts ripping open his mind, which blows my mind. Oh, these are the good guys. That he's immediately invading this guy's mind. So throughout this whole thing where they're suspecting Osha, they said, well, just open your mind and we'll prove your innocence. And they never tried it. Not once. They didn't even ask. Wasn't even mentioned.
So, I didn't get your point there. I'm sorry. Like, what are you talking about? When he went to mind?
Well, no, you said that they could have done anything, right? Okay, so why didn't Soul, the first thing he when he saw her was, hey, open your mind and we'll know whether you're the killer or not. And if she didn't want to open her mind to him, it would have right there put suspicion on her and they could have taken her away. But instead, they just pussyfooted around it, like for plot contrivance, convenience.
So
it was
quote a wise man, JD, because they're not perfect. people.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you when you expect the heroes or the main characters to always be perfect, you're always going to be disappointed.
Yeah, but Jord Fondar already proved, like, the very first scene he was in was like his go-to is just, hey, I asked you a question. Let me go into your mind and find it for you. You know, like that was his MO. That should have been the first thing when they saw her. That would have been one of the first things that he should have done.
Thrawn says, if you can do anything, why make a hairstyle redundant? Just saying. And then does he say here? I mean, they got to be like bounty hunters in the regard that there's not that many of them, or at least have some organization, so it shouldn't be too hard to hunt one down off a description.
So yeah, like in the Star Wars universe, it's really not that hard to get information from people with the HoloNet,
so
all the computers and shit, probe droids.
True, but if anybody knows anything about police procedure, a ID by a
okay, so you keep saying police
visual
procedure, but we're talking about Jedi. We're talking about a fictional group. They're not cops. They're not.
Well, actually, they in this universe they kind of are like
they're trying their hardest to be the cops, and that's part of the problem. Like this show actually kind of proves Luke from The Last Jedi kind of correct here. Like we see where the Jedi were the green chick. She's actually the only crossover character from the High Republic comments, but like she's like, oh, use discretion because our political enemies can use this against us. Like that shows you right there, like overall as an order, the Jedi are concerned more about politics than they are about actually helping people. Instead of Soul here, you know, he's obviously the Qui-Gon Jinn of the series.
Yeah, Vernestra Rowe is who you're talking about, Don. And from what I understand, and I haven't read the books, but she was like a badass in the books, in the High Republic books. And now, and you're right, it does go to show how far they've fallen by like the first thing she thinks about here, one of the heroes of the Jedi is straight to politics, not doing the right thing, to politics, to protecting their image.
Hold on a second. Dizzy says, well, that reading her mind thing is also a huge part of the authoritarian overlord MO they get.
Yeah.
They probably don't want to go around just let us read your mind. If you're not guilty, you have nothing to fear.
Except that's what Jord Fondar did. Like the very first thing when we walked onto the bridge of that ship, he's like, "Where are they? Oh, you're gonna hesitate? And well, let me go into your mind and find it for you."
That's a good way for the peace-loving Jedi to make a peaceful galaxy. So I saw this, and I think it was Screen Crush that pointed this out. Like there are people who were complaining about that. But in both A New Hope and Phantom Menace, it was shown how nonchalantly the Jedi use mind tricks, and they don't care. Like it's just part of their thing. Like they'll go into your mind and they'll do Jedi mind tricks. Like Obi-Wan does it to the guard, and Qui-Gon tries to do it on Otto, and does do it on what's his face in the Gungans. So like that's just part of their culture. Like that's just part of their culture. Like they don't care. They're like they have this power, they use it. Period.
No,
like,
well now the Qui-Gon thing was a little bit it was a little bit sus. But when Ben Kenobi did it, he was avoiding the Empire. He had every right to do it there.
No, don't defend it. The point is, it's part of the Jedi culture. They do it all the time, and they don't.
Well, yeah, but for Ben Kenobi, it was a matter of survival. It's like I either trick this guy or they shoot me. Like and this kid that I'm trying to protect. No, that wasn't a problem. But the rest of the examples of it, yeah, those. They were a little bit laissez-faire with their power,
But I mean, I thought that was a great point, right? Like they don't care. It's like, why have this power? I'm just going to use it. Like,
right. But that goes more to the point of if it's so ingrained in them to use it all the time. Well, you've got your suspect right there, and you're just for plot contrivance just going to continue to not use this power that you just showed us is your first option. To let everybody know that she may or may not still be the bad guy. We don't know yet.
That's every TV show or movie we've ever reviewed. They do stupid things for plot contrivance. Like it happens all the time.
I know, but that's not an excuse. Bad writing is not an excuse. You're
saying it's bad writing because the Jedi don't just carte blanche use their mind trick.
I'm saying it's bad writing when the very first scene with Yord Fondar is him like going into somebody's mind to find out what he needs. And the next scene where he could where that would be like his go-to thing, he doesn't do it.
But isn't it also good writing?
Wonder if she's bad or good or whatever.
Well, okay, so you mentioned Yord, right? The Jedi Knight. It was 2 years ago. He was appointed Jedi Knight.
Yeah, the baby.
Don't you think it's good writing to show that same character, like at a moment's notice, busting out his lightsaber?
So
while a Jedi Master like Soul, like keeps his shit seathed and does like the kung fu.
I think no, wait.
Hold on.
So Yord is obviously kind of a hothead.
I also want to make one more point to this.
No, wait. I know, but I need to address something that Don said. Was it one of the first things that May said to Trinity was right. A Jedi does not draw their lightsaber unless they're ready to kill, right? Well, then we go with the other rules. Or if it's slightly dark and they need a really underpowered flashlight. Or if they're the bad guy and they're sticking to a cool Sith pose in the background. I mean, well, for the Sith, that's it. But the thing is, you were right. Yours is like, I can't see because it's slightly dim in here. Let me pull out my lightsaber.
Wait.
It's like you're ready to kill the dark, I guess. I don't know.
Marcellus says Jedi mind tricks only work on the weak-minded. You will super chat us. You will super chat us.
All right. Don't do that to Emery Guns.
So there's another aspect of the show that, like, I think if you take in consideration, it's not bad writing. There's a history with Osha and these characters. Like, she trained with the baby Jedi. Well, she was in training with Yard, is that his name? And then
Yord,
Soul was her trainer. So like they have a connection. So there is an argument that he didn't try to read her mind because maybe he has feelings for her. Like, you don't know what their relationship was yet. They're still like that still needs to be revealed. The whole
entire time that before he could absolutely prove it by his own eyes, he spent that whole entire time suspecting her and asking them to restrain her. You've never
been a jilted lover or had a jilted lover. Like that's how that works.
That's not what we haven't seen that kind of relationship yet. All we
don't know yet. Friends. Exactly. It's the first 2 episodes. Here is the problem. Here is the problem with Star Wars shows. And I'm going to say this flat out. And I mean this 100%. When you have a 2 hour or you have an hour and a half to 2 hour movie, you don't have time to build. Like it's boom, 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 right? Like there's a lot of shortcuts with the Luke and Obi-Wan's relationship in the first movies. There's a lot of shortcuts with Han and Leia's relationship. There's a lot of shortcuts with Obi-Wan and Anakin in the prequels. Like you don't spend a lot of time building out the relationships. In a TV show, you have breathing room to build this stuff out. And a lot of people don't like that in Star Wars shows. They get upset because it's like, well, this doesn't make sense. It's like, well, peel back the onion and look at what's going on. There's obviously a previous relationship with them. There's something more going on with these characters.
Right. But the entire time they're showing his character as being incredibly suspicious of her. Why haven't you restrained her? Why are you letting her walk around? Why, like he was not like, he wasn't the one saying, well, she should be safe because I've known her before. He was the one pressing that she was definitely the killer.
You talking about Yord or Soul?
Yord is the one that's sitting there going, why isn't she restrained? Why is she, he's the one who, regardless of knowing her before.
Yeah, the Padawan gets more say than he does. That's actually a complaint I have about the show. I don't know why the fuck that's going on. Like
what's
Becky, Jackie, the one played by Daphne King, like she's a fucking Padawan, and she's like, she's not respecting the Jedi Knight rank here. I mean, Soul's kind of
well, Yord is,
you know,
so
Yord's kind of played to be very naive, kind of, you know.
Dizzy says, why didn't everyone just read Palps, which I think he means Palpatine's mind, when he stood there on the Senate podium weekly for years before the first film?
Oh, whatever.
The whole series is lame now. Like, that is an excellent point. If the Jedi can do this, they should have just read Palpatine's mind, knew he was a Sith Lord, and there you go. That's that. Star Wars never happens. Like, exactly.
But yeah, Palpatine is smart enough.
But I'm saying you can make arguments like this to make any of these things bad.
Correct.
Like, that's a nitpicking thing. Like, why didn't they read her mind? Like,
well, instead of saying Palps is so smart, right? Like this Acolyte dude or this dude in this show saying you can't attack Jedi with steel or whatever. Well, that's exactly how Palpatine took out the Jedi. It wasn't going right at him with a lightsaber, or he did it in a political way.
Palpatine wasn't a suspect in a murder investigation, you know. Like, and he was also a high-ranking official in the government. So yeah, they didn't have reason to read his mind.
Well, he did murder motherfuckers. So whether he was a suspect or not, dude murdered people.
Well, not
before he was,
not until it was too late.
Why didn't R2 and C-3PO tell Luke about his dad? It's the biggest.
One was mind wiped.
One was mind wiped. Yeah. One wasn't.
And R2D2 is just a dick.
He's kind of a dick.
It is the biggest hole in the original trilogy, or in the original.
Well, it's not a hole. It's R2D2 is kind of a dick.
And C-3PO's had his mind wiped, like all droids get their mind.
Look at Chopper. Look at Chopper. He's a mega dick too. Like, droids can be dicks in this universe.
Kind of interesting that Chopper and R2D2 are the only droids we know of that haven't had their minds wiped regularly, and they both become dicks.
Droids become dicks after a while. Yeah.
So hold on. I have to ask this question since he's watching. And Mark did say Palpatine is not weak-minded. Mark Kellis Reagans, you will defend the sequel trilogy. You will die on that hill, which no one understands. Are you saying that you didn't like the Acolyte? Like, I need to know, did you like it or not like it? Because God damn it, if you didn't like it, but you're gonna fucking defend somehow Palpatine returns, I may have lost all respect for you.
I defend that shit.
I'm going to bring up one of my other notes here. Just because. Okay. So
I remember you talking about that.
So they have OSHA, right? They suspect her of killing a Jedi Master, of being competent enough, dangerous enough, and skilled enough in both the Force and fighting in Teräs Käsi or whatever Jedi martial art they're using, to be able to take out a Master. And so what do? They put her on a ship with one guard droid and 2 front seat drivers, with nobody else to watch her.
Okay, so they're not perfect. They don't have perfect security protocol.
That's kind of less than perfect, I'd say. That's kind of like,
and in the end, she wasn't the killer.
Here's your escape pod. It's called your prison ship.
If
it had been May that had been on there, she would have owned that ship in 3.2 seconds. Like,
sure, and they would have had their answer. I don't know. I mean, at least you're giving me story points and not just being like, you're not a bigot, John. Obviously, we know you're not. So
no, Mark says, it mystifies me, and I think you're right too. That
I'm with
lot
you,
of
ray guns.
Yeah, I think Don, you're right. A lot of the hate on this is because of the tact that they took with hyping this up with all of the woke stuff. I would normally not use that, but
What did I say to you when you went ick? Right, like, and that was a joke.
Yeah, but I
like,
know you were joking because I'm not like that, and I could care less about that stuff. But I think
that's an excellent point, because they came out so strong promoting this show, and
which doesn't make sense,
like
because
this.
So far we haven't seen it's not, there's no kind of agenda like that being pushed in this show. It's still supposed to be a very bad murder mystery, but it's still a murder mystery. It doesn't revolve completely around the fact that she has two mothers or something like that. Like,
are you
I don't know
really not
about.
interested on what's going on here at all? Like, I actually think this is a great hook. Like, I'm very interested why the fuck these 4 Jedi, one of which committed suicide because of what the fuck went on.
Right?
What the hell happened?
Right. You're right. That is that.
I mean, that's what
that
actor does. He killed himself in Game of Thrones, and now in this show, I haven't seen anything else.
And that is true. And that's the mystery of the show. What happened on this planet, where they thought they killed one of these kids, and like their whole family died, and
supposedly May set the fire to kill her family, or just
like
set the family that killed her, or set the fire to kill her family.
I mean, and that's one of the things that, like, watching the show, I have, like, I am interested, but then I'm fearful that they're going to go in a really bad direction with this, and that being this thing where you kind of got the feeling in The Last Jedi, this concept of the Jedi are actually bad guys. Like,
okay, because they kind of are. I mean, they're not like the bad guys. And you touched upon this, Dave. Like, I think really people are pissed off that the Jedi are not held on some pedestal to where, like, they're always right. They are a corrupt group just like any other. And we're seeing that. And ultimately that proves Luke Skywalker right, which is going to piss people off.
I had a friend who messaged me privately. I will leave his name out. I will leave their name out of it. Who was complaining about the show to me. And one of the things that he was complaining about, and it kind of pissed me off, because he's not a skinny guy either. He's like, oh, there was a fat Jedi.
That's how you know this is fucking ridiculous. So they're at the point of they're making fun of the fact that he's fat, right?
Yeah, what's the point of that?
Right.
Like, again, yeah, I mean, like, I have a list of things that can actually have a case made, but stuff like that, that's just nitpick. That's just stupid, you know? Like, oh no, they have different body types in a galaxy far, far away. What?
Well, no, but he's a Jedi. Like, there's nothing that says, like, Jedi have to be physically fit martial artists. I know we're kind of used to that, but at the end of the day, it's like your connection to the Force is what makes you Jedi. And there's just nothing that says that you can't be a little portly and have a deep connection with the Force.
Maybe he's not part of the martial arm of the Jedi. He's one of the guys like that other guy that was just hanging out there for 10 years, just hovering. By the way, did they just like change the bucket under him or something? Because like for 10 years,
yeah, I
don't understand.
Yeah, his whole digestive system should have shut down for that, or else it's going to be messy and smelly.
He must have eaten a ton of bread before he started that.
Kassan said, and they put Osho on a droid ship where her prison is on the bridge, and she's supposed to be able to use the Force, which is what you said, but that's the other thing. It was a droid ship. Like, do Jedi mind tricks work on droids?
It doesn't matter. She could just take them and throw them into the bulkhead, for crying out loud. Like, I mean, not that hard. I mean, look, a bunch of those guys took out the guard droid, and they weren't Force users.
Okay, Thrawn, you win the internet tonight. The Fadawan rules. I am going to go to my next convention dressed as a Fadawan. I love it. Yes.
That should have been the name of this episode. The Fadawan
rules. That Torben scene was plain stupid. I won't let you kill me with your weapon, but I'll drink poison just to make sure you're not viewed as a killer by the audience. No. But again, that's the point, Kassan. What happened that he is so guilt-ridden he was willing to kill himself? Like
that he spent 10 years
to do that. He wasn't willing to do that until after she was like, "Listen, you drink this shit, I forgive you." And then he was like, "Oh,
right,
we're here, all right." So,
no, I mean that is
like
that is a good
Parallax
point.
Green Lantern big head. I didn't get that. I don't know.
Well, they also
one?
they gave that guy a beard to make him look older, but the actor is
Okay,
not old enough to have.
Common from
that
Game of
is
Thrones.
that is an actual criticism I have of the show. The makeup for him was horrible. That fake beard looked fake. I don't know why they did that, but yeah, that was bad. You know, and again, he probably ate a lot of bread. And then I saw a lot of people complaining about when May or OSHA shoots at May and she misses, and I'm like, she missed on purpose. That's so obvious.
Right.
People were
How many
complaining
of you
about
have ever shot your brother or sister before? How easy was it? Comment below, please.
Well, my sister came out with a steak knife
because I was so pissed at him that. Oh wait, I'm sorry. And then I keep touching my computer. I got to stop. And then,
hey, I thought you were dead, but now you're alive, so I'm going to shoot you. Like, yeah, it doesn't work.
Which time?
There's a healthy familiar relationship.
Yeah, I grew up with stepbrothers, so I get it. Like, yeah, we straight WWE that shit. Yeah, you know, Thrawn Kill, and my other complaint about something like that is like, why are their mouths pink? Like, I can't stand that about the way Star Wars does that. If I have one complaint, they'll have these blue-green aliens, but the inside of their mouths are like pink.
The interesting thing is, it's one of the things I like about the show is they went more practical than they have in a while.
Yes, I agree.
But there are definite mistakes they're making with going practical, and that's a problem.
One thing, Vernestra, the green was really patchy around Vernek because that's probably where she put all the money she got from her wife. Her wife being Leslie Headland, the woman who wrote all this. So,
okay,
no nepotism there.
So here's another thing, and this was on. I believe this was on New Rockstars, and I could be wrong, and I forgive me if I'm wrong, because it was either New Rockstars or Screen Crush, where they had a guy on. It was New Rockstars. Yeah, it was definitely. They had a guy on talking about the show, and he was complaining with some of the story points and whatnot. But one of his biggest complaints, and this is what really kind of bothered me, is he said, we were promised something completely different, and yet it still feels like Star Wars.
What?
Exactly. He's like,
what does that mean?
It's not different enough. It's still Jedi and this and that, and like,
but
the host was like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
yeah,
like if you want something completely different, watch something other than Star Wars. Like, if you're gonna make Star Wars, it's got to feel like Star Wars. It's got to feel like.
Got to have like Star Wars music, right? And it's got to have like spaceships
and trade negotiations. Yeah,
you got to have the Force.
It was one motherfucking movie, John.
Sorry, man. I just come on. That's just an easy.
I know it's a good jab. I get it.
Markella says there's going to be a lot of flashback scenes with younger Jedi that, while they tried to make Tobin look older. Yeah. But
I agree, because why else would you put Carrie Ann Moss in the show and kill her in the first 5 minutes? Like, and then it's actually one of my complaints.
But
it's Cranston.
It's 2024. You can do fake beards much better than they did in this show.
Well, this show has what, $100 million.
But just realize
budget. And if you look at the picture that they showed of Coruscant, supposedly, it looks horrible. It looks like something AI did. Like,
I don't know. I didn't notice anything. But I'm not that guy though with CGI. I'm easily fooled.
Well, it was
Ron Kill. I just keep in mind that the Jedi that we've seen, Obi-Wan, Mace Windu, Yoda, those are like the creme de la fucking creme. So these Jedi dying, like, it happens.
So Thrawn says the Jedi deaths seem more confusing than anything when we don't know what happened before. A small flashback would have helped cement. Oh, would help
May's
to
anger,
cement
yeah.
May's anger.
May's
Oh, I
anger.
thought it said May's anger.
Yeah,
180
and
million.
180 million for this, man. 180 million, and some of the production values, I'm not seeing it.
100 million went to Leslie Headland's partner.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
You all ever place Star Wars: The Old Republic? Jedi is already. It's
I have,
true.
Kevin.
Yeah.
No, the Jedi are not perfect. A lot of these dumb motherfuckers that just happen to be able to use the Force. So
here's the thing. This is the other thing people need to keep in mind. You saw the prequels, right? Like, if you haven't saw the prequels, maybe you should go and watch them. And this is 100 years before that, which sounds like a long time, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really not that long of a time. Because guess what? That's the other thing I'm afraid of. Yoda's going to show up in this show because Yoda
absolutely will.
Yeah, Yoda obviously he's got to be on the Jedi Council at this point. And the thing with that is it's the hubris of the Jedi that led to their downfall. Like, that's part of the whole point of
the whole fucking lesson. Yeah.
The whole lesson is the hubris. This is like the beginning of that. I think that's what they're trying to show in this show is that, like, they think they're unstoppable. They think they're the greatest. Like,
they think they're always right.
Hype.
They think
they're always right, and they believe their own hype, and that's part of what's going on. These Jedi did something screwed up so bad, because they believed the code, and that's where I think where this show is going. And
which goes to show you, like, any religion where that teaches you to your emotions, to stomp them down, to you can't feel this emotion, you can't feel that emotion, is just
stop making fun of Lutherans, John. I'm just kidding. That's an inside
I was making fun of Catholics. No,
hey,
it's just
he got you too.
Hey, you're talking to a recovering Catholic. So, it's you are destined. The whole idea of Jedi not being allowed to have any attachments goes against human nature. You're obviously going to be a breeding ground for Sith at that point.
And for those of you that don't know, Darth Revan or Jedi Revan, he proved them wrong a long time ago because he actually fell in love with the Jedi. And while he was doing that, he brought down the Star Forge and the Sith Empire, and the Jedi couldn't do any of that shit. And there's like, here's this dude that goes against everything we're fucking saying, and he's like the most badass there is.
So, and he was able to use both Sith and Jedi abilities. Right. It goes like, man, I'm gonna pull a nerd reference here. It goes to like the power of the red lantern rings, right? You can feel rage, but there's also righteous anger, right?
Right. Like if you force lightning somebody in order to save 50 orphans, have you done something bad?
Yeah, exactly.
That's Revan's whole point. That's some big Revanite dude.
So Soul in this show, who is probably my favorite
English
character
for the show. Yeah.
Probably my favorite character in the show, but he also does something again that shows the flaw of, I can't remember if he's talking to Osha or someone else, but it's like a whole thing about
talk to Osha unless they've got all their paperwork and
you better have them steel toe.
I was waiting for someone to make the joke.
And
I've been trying to think of a place to put it in there, but
and watch the fires in space, man. That's a violation.
Yeah. But he says something about, along the lines of like tapping down your emotions and whatnot, but then says he has to face May alone, and like, because it's like an emotional response thing, right? Like,
yeah.
Well, because he's not going to try to kill her.
Well, that's true too.
Osha will try and stab that bitch in the neck.
I gotta say, it was the coolest fight scene in Star Wars in a long time.
It was good.
Soul versus May. Like, no lightsaber all like him just being, defensive posture, the wire work, like, yeah, that's how it should look when Jedi fight. Like that made sense.
And they weren't using God, it's like Teräs Kasai or something, but they were using
Teräs Kasai. Yes,
was it Teräs Kasai? Because I thought they were using a different one that was more defense.
There's other ones. There's there's a couple different fighting styles, but Teräs Kasai is the big one. Remember they had a PlayStation game with it?
Yeah. Yeah, well, the only reason I know it is because it was in Star Wars Galaxies,
like unarmed
which was a
combat.
long time ago. But yeah, they were using like all the turning and just
so
basically just defending. It's
so
really good.
Kasan asks, and I wanted to address this too because this is one of the weird things in the show. Anyone going to mention how Soul's group somehow got to Torben's body so late, but Osha somehow knew the shortcut that put her in the
bad scenario
for no reason, of course, because Yard followed her. So that's the thing, right? Like Osha still got there too late too. Like it didn't matter that she went a different direction, and it was only like only like 20 seconds later they got there, so it wasn't much of a shortcut, but it was a weird thing that there was another way to go that did seem shorter.
Well, and also the Scott, like they had one break-in, and they knew that the person had that they already knew that the person that had broken in had killed another Jedi Master, and yet they didn't do anything. No extra guards. They didn't close the skylight right under the guy who was attempted murdered. Like
that's the thing. Like they knew someone broke in, and they knew the skylight was there that they could get in and out. And
I guess he likes fresh air when he's sitting there pooping in the bucket.
Listen, that's a Star Wars trope, guys. Like small holes go unguarded, and you're able to do.
We'll take the duct work. The ducts are always human sized.
I mean, from the first movie, when there was a exhaust port only 2 meters wide, like, and it wasn't well protected, and it somehow destroyed the Death Star.
But at the same time, that dude killed himself. Like, if he didn't want to kill himself, she wouldn't have been.
Yeah.
Nothing would have happened. So that's why dude could have been outside. Like, for whatever he had going on, it was an impenetrable force.
There is also something too. Like, there's a history, and this is true, that like there are people who join monasteries, join the monks, and take vows of silence because of something in their past, and they're guilt ridden by it, and they choose to go into isolation over it. And like that's the whole thing. Like it makes sense. Like it works. This character was guilt ridden, and he was in isolation for 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah. Pooping in a bucket.
I'm sorry. I know it's one of the easy hits that we can get on this, because there are a lot of little things like that make no freaking sense at all. Okay. Here's another one just out of my notes. Okay. So they escape the ship. The guys do the jailbreak. They escape the ship. They take the 2 escape pods. Okay, so then there's a scene later on where you can see that they caught those guys, brought them all the way to Coruscant, and they're thinking, oh, maybe we should send some drones to go check out the crash site. Okay, wait a minute. They had a ship right there in orbit around the planet, so they could pick up those 2 escape pods. And they didn't send anybody down to check the crash site, even though they knew that there was one other person unaccounted for that would have gone down with the ship, and it was a suspected Jedi murderer. They just picked up the pods, drove all the way back to Coruscant, and then we're going to send some droids later on for the most important person that was on the ship.
I feel that's nitpicking.
That's not nitpicking.
Yeah, it is, bro. It is, man, because
you don't know all the details around how the escape pods got back to Coruscant or anything.
They didn't. Those escape pods
are going to have trackers, first of all, so they're going to know right where they went.
But they're
probably pre-programmed to go somewhere. So even as that was happening in real time, I'm like, where the fuck did they think they're going to go? What did they fuck think is going to happen?
Right, but that's the point is
because we don't see them.
They were in that solar system. They couldn't.
We didn't see them get picked
anywhere.
up. How do we know? How do we know that
they didn't have hyperspace capability?
How do we know the escape pods aren't smart enough to know that it's a prisoner in there and like it locked and they couldn't get out? So they just had to pick up the escape pod. So it was easy, and it could have just been a droid that picked it up.
And as far as that ship crashing, that should have killed her. That should have killed her.
Oh, yeah.
But this is Star Wars. The Force exists, and it does protect certain characters. She's one of them.
No, John, they needed to pad the show. Also, it's not nitpicking. It would have changed the plot of the story if they looked for her.
I know, and that's the point.
And not one motherfucker ever came in this chat and complained about Homelander jerking off at the end of season 2. I guess that's where my head's at when it comes to nitpicking like this. Everyone seems to be cool with all sorts of jive, but when it comes to Star Wars,
here's the thing though. If you're the writer that makes you God, that means that if there are holes this big in your plot, that's your fault. There should be a very easy way.
It's a character choice.
No, it's not a character choice when you have people teleporting around, even though that doesn't exist. Just for plot contrivance. Because like the last episode or the last 2 episodes of Game of Thrones. You got people teleporting all over the planet all of a sudden just to be where they need to be for the plot. And people are sitting there going, wait, this doesn't make any sense. How did he get here from here to there? It's if you're a writer, it should be very easy for you to write the plot in a way that makes sense.
I think it's funny. This whole conversation is reminding me of all the stuff I've been watching online, all the comments I've been seeing, all this stuff. And there's something everyone needs to keep in mind. And I apologize in advance. This is going to hurt some people.
Uh-oh. Me. Go ahead. I'm ready.
Star Wars is for kids. It's a kid's morality story.
Yes.
So little plot issues like this don't fucking matter because it's a kid's fucking story to sell fucking toys.
Thank you, because that's exactly what people have a problem with this show. Is it didn't X-Men 97 itself? And what I mean is that yes, it did not grow up with us. Star Wars did not grow up with us. Star Wars is a kids thing. It goes after the kids demographic. Well, at the same time, though, if you're willing to look deeper, you can find subcontext that are allegories to our real life. And that's what I enjoy about it. So my kids enjoy it, but they don't give a fuck about trade route taxation. They like Jar Jar, right? I know you hate to hear that, but they like Jar Jar. I like the fact that we're seeing some really political intrigue here that we can really apply to our real lives. Again, because I'm an adult that is looking at this content in that sort of way. So I think you're absolutely correct, Dave. The fact that Star Wars is a child property really fucking seems to rub people the wrong way. When I say people, the truth is, guys, this is a small corner of the internet. Okay? It is.
Because here's the thing.
Yes, Kassan, it is. It's a wonderful show.
Like Andor. But here's the thing with Andor is a lot of people find it boring because that is Star Wars trying to be adult, I think. Andor is Star Wars trying to grow up with its audience.
Now that was a murder investigation done right.
There's a lot of people who don't like Andor who are diehard Star Wars fans. So, that's the thing. Wait. When you say that, Dave, you're isolating anyone not a kid. The original trilogy appealed to both kids and adults and was meant for both. You can call George Lucas right now and he will tell you it's a morality story for kids and it was meant to sell toys. He has admitted that in interview after interview after interview. It's why there was fucking teddy bears in Return of the Jedi. It's a kid's story. I don't care who I'm isolating. I love Star Wars. I will always love Star Wars. I love everything Star Wars has done. but I know it's a kid's story, and I'm happy with that. Like, I'm not isolating anyone. I'm telling the people who want it to grow up with them, it's never going to grow up with them. We're always going to get Jar Jar Binks. We're always going to get Ewoks. It's always going to happen.
Pip, BB-8, always Babu Freak.
When they try to grow up,
shit.
When they try to grow up and be mature and edgy, we get somehow Palpatine returned. I mean, come on, people. Like, get over it.
Like that. But well, and it goes to show you, like, people love Rogue One, right? Like, is there any more of a depressing Star Wars story out there than Rogue One? But it's it's acclaimed.
Somehow Palpatine Return was pretty depressing, but
somehow Palpatine Returns is fine. It's been explained. Watch The Bad Batch.
I know anyway, they tried to explain it later on, but I don't think.
Anyway, your point is valid.
When they did it.
It is for children, and if you can't, I used to be a salesman a long time ago, and you make your money when you try to sell stuff. But at some point, you just look at the person and say, "Listen, are you gonna fucking buy it or not?" And so that's what I mean with Star Wars. Are you in for Star Wars? Are you in for some kiddish galactic fun adventures with a little bit of allegory to our own lives to be a little adult oriented? Great. If not, to get the fucking go. That's just how I feel about
it. Again, Kasan says, do you think kids' stories should be subpar? Kids are too dumb to appreciate good writing. Kids don't care about these stupid little points that people are pointing out. They don't care that, they didn't read her mind here, or they put her in a ship with just droids guarding her. Kids don't think about those things. They just enjoy the ride and absorb the morality tale. They don't think about these little details. It's adults who think about these little details and go crazy and trash the show online because of it. That's it. Thronkill says, I don't know if it's for kids. Is the message that is coming across with the statements made? People with the wrong intentions take advantage of discourse that takes place. I think the morality in a story like this, and we'll see where it ends up, is that just because there's a group of people that are in power doesn't mean you can always trust them. They're just people, and they're going to make mistakes. Like, I think that's the morality tale that's going to come out in the Acolyte, that just because there's these Jedi, they're not perfect, and they're going to make mistakes. And that's the story here. It's a morality tale for children. Yay! I've proven it again. People, stop.
Disney's got a good point here. People love Avatar, and that was a kid's series adults now love. Like, how much stupid shit did Aang do? Like,
Aang was a 12-year-old, he was a 12-year-old kid. And the whole point of the series was him growing up and accepting the responsibility that he had run away from in the beginning. And so, in the beginning of the first season and a half, he's still like, hey, I know we got to go over there, but let's go penguin sledding, right? Because he's still a kid until it gets real and he starts to accept his responsibility. So the stupid stuff that he did was actually part of the plot, part of the storyline,
exactly,
to show that show his growth.
So in the Acolyte, guys, guess what it's about? It's about showing you how the Jedi are kind of fucking stupid and facilitated the rise of the Sith.
Yeah, I'd like to see the growth of the writers too, though. I mean,
2 episodes in, bro.
Kasan says, who does think about these details? Adults who were once kids that can now afford to buy Star Wars merchandise. If the adult doesn't like the story he thought he did as a kid, no buying. It doesn't matter, because the kid who does like the show and watch it goes, Daddy, can you buy me the new May action figure? And Daddy's going to run out to the store and buy May the action figure. They're not selling to you, Kasan. They're selling to the actual kids who are watching. Again, It's a kid story. Like, this idea that
my 8 and 10-year-old daughters that have 18 Grogu dolls, and that's
right.
They're fucking making their money.
Exactly.
Not off this stupid fucking Target shirt that I bought because it was big enough.
Right. Exactly. yes, adults. There are adults who do buy collectibles, but also adults are way more picky. Adults are only going to buy the ones they really like. Adults are going to sit there and go, "I didn't really like that show, so I'm not going to buy anything from it." But the kids are going to be like, "I love it, Daddy. I want it. Mommy, I want it." That's it. That's how it works. I'm exhausted now.
I'm fired up, but I gotta watch out because I like John, and I don't like punching down. I don't want to come at him. So, and he at least has points in Kassan as well about the story. I'm at least refreshed by that discourse. And just not they're fat or
no
Ryder's a lesbian and dumb shit like that. Like
again, that doesn't it. I mean, those. If you're going to create a setting, then you want to create a setting that's diverse because life is diverse. And who cares if you add a lesbian couple in there or not, or a fat Jedi? Big deal. There's going to be all sorts of Jedi. They're not all going to be like mesomorphic,
How do you know that's not
experts.
How do you know that's not just how everyone on his planet looks? Maybe that's just a normal body from whatever race he is. You assume everyone's human, that's a little humanist of you. So, right? Come on now.
And it's not like they live on an inner rim planet. Like some sort of fucking famine could hit that planet tomorrow. And you're like, hey, I'll be good to go. I'll survive a little bit more than everybody else. That's why I do it.
So.
All right. I think
we're not going to enough.
We're not going to solve this.
Yeah, Dave,
tonight.
You're going to have to end this because I certainly won't. I'm in the fucking boxing ring all day for this shit.
I know, and our
I'm going against my buddy Kassan, which is pulling at my heartstrings because he's always says things about me. But he obviously does not like this.
We're not gonna win anyone over tonight. So I think we've done it enough. Sorry, it's
So listen, I'm locked in. If
you
guys don't want to continue to watch this and talk about it, I'm down.
I'm going to continue watching it. I want to see where this goes. I am curious.
I'm very intrigued by the story. I understand all the flaws that you're all pointing out, but I'm going to echo JD here. These are human beings, and they're not ultra capable. They're not all Obi-Wan.
We're going to have a Wookiee Jedi in the next episode, so come on.
Hey, Wookiee Jedi, I'm there for that. But
yes, Jedi, yes.
Yeah, imagine all of the different ways you can rip arms off of a body or of a torso.
There you go.
But here's the thing. Episode 3 is going to make or break this thing because that is where all the controversy apparently is in episode 3. Everybody who saw it has been really I don't know.
Yes.
There's been a variety of reactions, let's say, and not all of them good, but we'll see what happens because I'll watch it because at its base, and like Don was saying, the real mystery here is what the hell happened that caused this whole situation.
Right.
And I'm always there for a plot point like that. Even if I have to wade through the sewers a little bit, I'm interested to see what the idea was, or what they think happened that could cause this kind of strife among these characters.
Wookiee Jedi nuts sniper.
Yeah, there's a dude that plays in this game.
What?
He doesn't show. He shows up like every other game at best, but yeah, he plays a Wookiee, and he named him Nut Sniper, and all he does is shoot people in the nuts.
In my when I had an account with Star Wars Galaxies Online, my brother had a character Wookiee Crisp.
All right.
That's funny.
All right. Let's put a pin in it for this week. I am going to watch it. I'm going to continue watching it. I'm sure we will keep talking about it.
Yes,
and
yes, Kassan, I am. Sorry.
Is that the League of Legends thing or no? Am I misunderstanding that? Yep, I've misunderstood. Never mind. Move along.
No, okay. Yeah, no, it's an anime. It's an animated story from an online game from a MMORPG.
So let's go around the room and tell me, what did you learn on the podcast this week? Or do you have any recommendations? Don can go first.
Fair enough.
I learned that Fadawan rules. So I'll echo that. Outside of that, I really am trying to figure out, and I'm pretty sure I've come to the conclusion that I'm really just a big Star Wars fanboy. But it really is something I ask myself, like, am I really that jaded that I enjoy everything, or I don't know. So with that said, I'm still recommending the Acolyte. I'm intrigued by the story, and yeah, I'm excited for the rest of it. It's not perfect writing, it's not perfect pacing. I don't understand all the decisions that the characters make, but they are human. And,
yeah.
To err is human.
To err is human. To forgive, divine. Chunky D.
Yeah, he's referencing characters that he's made for the MMO, Star Wars MMO, which I love, by the way. It's great because it's an MMO, Star Wars MMO with a great story, so you can actually play it as a one-player game, and it's still really fun.
All right, John.
Well, yeah, I don't really have. I didn't learn anything. I have learned that Don's worship of Star Wars is unassailable. But I also understand why, and that's fine. Like, I get it, and I do love Star Wars. I still do, which is why I'm so critical of it, because I love it and I want to see it grow. As far as recommendations concerned, I just polished off over the last 3 weeks 10 volumes of the Skeleton Knight in Another World light novels.
Mm-hmm.
They were a fun read. Like I said, it only took me 3 weeks to go through 10 novels. If you're looking for something to read and you like power fantasies, that's a good one. It really was fun. And I'm looking forward to the next volume, which probably won't be out till December. So I'm kind of sad right now. I have to find something else to read. That's it.
All right.
Yep, Dave.
I learned that Star Wars fans are divided and toxic, and it doesn't matter.
Not all Star Wars fans. Just there's a contingent of toxic ones.
I have never seen a group of fans who hate something they claim to love so much. I honestly am so confused by that. And again, I'm not even talking about I'm not talking about the haters who are just say stupid stuff. I am talking about people like you, John, who like nitpick all these little things. Like, they want everything that Star Wars does to be perfect, and it's not going to happen. I mean, and it is.
I don't want perfect. I want something that's not going to immediately grab me and drag me out of the storyline while my forebrain is going, "What the hell is this? How did that doesn't make any sense?"
Then you don't know how to suspend your disbelief and just enjoy the ride.
I'm suspending enough of my belief to think that I'm in a galaxy far, far away. I don't need to have to suspend it so much that fire can burn without oxygen in the dead of space.
Then again, Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith both had fires in space. Like, it happens.
It really doesn't. Actually,
it happens in the Star Wars.
Physics says it doesn't, but okay.
Star Wars physics are different than our physics. You just
I know you need to continually have thrust in it.
Again, look at the beginning of the Last Jedi. That whole bomber scene doesn't work with physics. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Like, honestly, I believe there is oxygen in space in Star Wars. I actually thought about this a lot today. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a high concentration of oxygen in space in Star Wars.
So you're saying
there has to be.
Star Wars,
the Force exists
in the Star Wars universe. We have the phlogiston. Look
Mary
it up, guys.
Poppins, Princess
Medieval
Mary
beliefs.
Poppins, Princess Leia.
Mary Poppins, Princess Leia. Yep.
Yeah, like sorry.
Hold on maneuver.
And there are people who defend that movie. So, all right.
Greatest bounty hunter in the galaxy hits the side of a ship and goes in the Sarlacc pit.
He was just a guy in a cool suit. Come on, let's be honest.
At that point, he wasn't, though. At that point, he's just some schmo. I don't know.
Oh, sorry. Then why wear helmets? That's a good question. But Thrawn says, explains the space whales. It does. Got to be oxygen out there. All right. Also, let's see. What do I recommend? I recommend that if you've gotten this far in the show and you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the show. Click that bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we go live here on Sunday nights. And please smash that like button. It really does help with the algorithm and gets our show out there more. And the more people see us, the more content we can bring to you. I promise. And yes, eventually there will be a members button. Once that goes up, consider joining and supporting our work. We would really appreciate that.
MVP Thrawn with the super chat today. So just
yes, thank you, Thrawn. Yes, we like you, Thrawn. I also am going to recommend you go over to superheroespeak.com where you can find the podcast every week. Links to all our social media at the top of the page, comic book reviews by our good friend Chris, and so much more. I am going to start getting better at updating that regularly. And yeah, that's it. I don't know what we're talking about next week yet. This kind of fell in the lap. I kind of felt like this was something that we needed to talk about. And the movie doesn't come out the next month, so we'll figure something out. But until then, as always, boys and girls, thanks for watching. Wait, I'm not ready. Thanks for watching. Don't let your cape caught in the door. Have a good week.